So this is the Catalyst Studio info session for the pilot program. There's no other program in the research that we did that is like this. So I'm really excited that Art Center is able to offer it to alumni, right? So this feels like a really exciting thing to share and to do. Um, all right, well, I have a lot of information to share. Okay, great. Aaron says yeah. I imagine it's a lot of emotions, right? There's probably like on one end of the spectrum, excitement because you've got it's autonomy, it's independence. Being a business owner is very much a creative act. There's high potential. There was one study that I saw on Snap survey. They polled freelancers, and um, I believe it was like 80% said that they made as much, if not more, freelancing than they did at their full-time job. So there is potential to make more. It takes longer, and there's more instability. You're not getting a regular paycheck, but the upside is you really have potential to make more than you would kind of climbing the corporate ladder. Um, but then there's, downside, of course, too. It can be lonely. You have to wear a lot of hats, right? You have to do some more aspects of the work than just, the designing and the craft that you've studied. So it's a mixed bag, I imagine. And that's why this program is really going to focus on community, the community aspect of it, because it can feel really lonely and there's a lot of good learnings. And you can also support each other and share clients and refer each other. So there's just like a lot of really good reasons why being in community is helpful. So I'm going to uh, share my screen and walk you through just the overview of the program, and then we'll have Q&A afterwards. If you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to just put them in the chat. So this is a pilot program, which is why we're offering it for free. And we're going to talk about kind of what it is, why we're doing it, the outcomes, who it's for, when, where, how, all that good stuff. And then we'll talk about the application as well. Um, so Catalyst Studio is a series of workshops, and it's for anyone who's graduated in the last year, and it's for people who want to be their own boss. The reason we're doing it is that, as I mentioned before, 75% of alumni, and this isn't just Art Center, this is any like art and design alumni, have either been self-employed in the past or are currently self-employed. And we know the job market, the labor market is moving in that direction. It's just more fluid. So even, if you didn't have intentions of being self-employed, chances are you probably will at some point in your career. And that means you need additional set of skills. Like all these things on the left, you need to be able to promote yourself. You need to be thinking about client outreach. So you're wearing lots of hats. You're wearing the CEO hat. You're wearing the marketing hat. You're wearing you know, the like, the not the legal hat, but you're doing taxes. You're doing a lot of different things, keeping track of your time. You're project manager. So all of these are skills that you learn and that you practice. And so being able to have a toolkit will help you have repeatable systems and be able to like speed up that learning curve. The outcome is that by the end of this program, so each workshop, you're focusing on building an aspect of your toolkit. So by the end of this series of workshops, you will have a defined service offering and positioning statement. You'll have a client ready website, which is different than a portfolio site. And there's simple ways for you to transform or like optimize your current portfolio site so that it's really speaking more to clients. You'll have a pricing and proposal template, outreach plan, and a contact list. And then you'll have sent at least you'll have one real client lead or have sent one proposal, and then a personal operating system. for managing your freelance practice. Because, and this is something I learned, the hard way myself, I wasn't creating systems. And it's really important to have systems in place because you cut out a lot of extra work that you don't need to be doing. It's for all majors. This program is really designed for people that are offering a service. Um, we are going to talk about e-commerce as well. So if you do have ideas for like products that you want to sell, we will also be talking about that and help you with that. But this is for people that are really serious about giving this a go. And maybe you're already doing it, you're already freelancing, and you're wanting to kind of really be intentional about building systems, or maybe you've been laid off, or maybe you're preparing, and you're like, okay, now I have to, you know, I want to pivot in this direction. Um, or maybe this is your plan A. And more people, it is becoming their plan A because the reality is um, a full-time job isn't necessarily um, it's not as consistent as it used to be, right? Like, I think the way that you get job security now, or one of the best ways to get job security, is to have multiple sources of income as opposed to one source of income. So the requirements are that you've graduated in the last year, and that includes spring 2025, and that you have an ability, you're able to show up once a week for the feedback sessions, and you have an idea of what your business is about. You don't have to have it all figured out, but you've got the start of an idea, and you're willing to play an active role in the community. The program's going to start June 1st, and it's asynchronous. So how that will, we'll send you a link on Monday or Sunday night, and that'll give you access to all this content for the week. And we're going to focus on one aspect of the toolkit each week. And then you'll be able to go through it at your own pace. And then we will meet, and you can choose one of two feedback sessions to show up to. It's all virtual. And so we'll be gathering virtually on Thursdays afternoon and Friday morning, whatever works best for your schedule. And that's when we'll share our in progress work. That's when we'll kind of come together, get feedback, support each other, get inspiration, because you all are going to be working on your own businesses. But that's really where we're checking in on your toolkit and like, where you're at and what you need support on. So it's a series of 10 asynchronous modules. It's clustered into 3 workshop themes. And then you are required, if you do this program, to attend 1 virtual feedback session per module per week. And that's because community is really important. And so like, if you don't show up, it impacts everyone else's experience. And so we're going to be really protective of that. We'll also have a Slack channel so that you can ask questions during the week. You can feel the community during the week. The deadline is March 16th to apply. And these are the application questions. It's also, if you go to the website, you can download a document to get all the questions so you can think about them ahead of time, kind of compose your questions before you actually do the application. And the biggest thing I would say, if you are thinking like, how do I have a competitive application? The biggest thing we're looking for, you don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to have previous experience as a freelancer. We're designing this for people who have little to no experience freelancing. But the things that are going to be really important are you're motivated, you're really hungry for this, you're like eager, you're excited. You might have nerves, of course, but you're really excited about the potential of having your own business, and that you're able to commit to meeting once a week, and that you're going to be active. You're going to comment on other people's work. You're going to ask questions. You're going to lean in. And then the third thing that we're really going to look for in applications is that you have a start of an idea. Like, we're not going to tell you what your business is about. We will guide you through the process of honing it. But really, we want you to, the work is on you, and we're going to be your guide. So the application deadline, as I mentioned, is the 16th. And then you'll hear back from us on March 20th. And then for people that are moving on to the second round, we will have an interview with you, and we'll ask for one reference. And it could be someone that you've like worked with as a peer, or it could be someone you worked for, but just someone who knows you in a professional context. And then we'll have you sign a participation agreement. This is the evaluation criteria, and I'll send this deck to all of you afterwards, so you can take a look at this. It's also on the if you download the application questions, the evaluation metric is also on that document as well. But these are the qualities, and again, this is from my personal experience, being on that side, being in the seat that you're in, and this is the qualities that will lead to your success. And so this is what we'll be looking for in your essay questions. And I mentioned it's a series of 10 asynchronous modules. So you'll be able to go through it. You'll get the content on Monday. You'll have from Monday to Thursday or Friday, depending on whichever feedback session you join, to go through the content and work out, that work on your aspect of the toolkit. We're only going to accept up to 25 people. We want to really protect the cohort. So especially for this pilot program, it's not a numbers game. It's not, if we only really see 15 people that are ready for this program, we'll only accept 15 people. But we're willing to accept up to 25 because, again, the community aspect is really important. And so we want to make sure that if you're in this program, you're going to be pushed by your peers, you're going to be supported by your peers. It's going to be that is going to be a big aspect of the experience. So these are the workshop topics. They're still getting refined, but you'll get an idea of like what we're going to cover. So, the first session is really about mindset, and goal setting. And we're starting to think about your kind of operating system, right? Like, how do you have the professional habits? And really start having repeatable systems. And then session 2 is going to be really about refining your how you translate your skills into things that people can buy. So we'll use Ikigai, we'll do some market research. The outcome of that is you'll have a very clear defined service offering and a transformation statement. A transformation statement basically is like, here's what I do, here's the impact. The focus is on the impact, not the thing. We often focus on our tool or method as opposed to the impact that tool or method delivers, and then who the audience is. Session 3, we get more clear on the target audience, and you'll come out with an ideal client profile. It's basically a persona. Who's your client persona? And you will start to build a spreadsheet of potential clients. We'll talk about how to research and find those people. And then the 4th workshop is where we'll talk about, we'll have a session where we're talking about the business aspect of it, taxes and calculating your cost of living. And based on your cost of living is what you should be charging, then how that translates into your like hourly or your project fee. We're also going to talk about outreach. That's a big one. And like scripts you use and different strategies. We'll talk about self-promotion and marketing and how to do that in a way that feels authentic to you and doesn't feel gross. I know oftentimes it's, it can be hard for us to talk about ourselves. but it's really necessary. People need to, if you're not excited about what you're doing, no one else is going to be, you know? So it's kind of getting into that headspace and talking about how to do that in a way that feels good for you. Then we're going to talk about how do you take your portfolio, which oftentimes we have a portfolio that highlights our, or we have a website that highlights our portfolio, but it's not optimized for getting new clients. And there's ways that you can tweak it to really speak to clients and help make it easy for them to pay you, to hire you, and know how they can engage you. And then we'll talk about contracts and business structures and getting paid. So invoice templates and kind of all of that. We're also going to talk about e-commerce and shipping and automation and kind of the tech stack for that. And then also the last session, and these are a little bit out of order to be honest. These are the topics, but there is a different flow to them. We'll be talking about writing proposals and pitching work. So it's kind of a continuation of how to market yourself. Uh, and that's it. So I would love to open up. I'm sure you all have several questions because I just went through a lot. So yeah, let's open it up right now.